Congratulations to the Inland Coalition on Aging on launching the Master Plan for Aging. ICA has made it possible for those of us in Riverside University Health System Behavioral Health to connect with people from health insurance, DBOs, nonprofits, education, care providers, and stakeholders. We used to all be in these silos waving at each other from a distance. But now we bump up against each other everywhere. It's a charcuterie board of different groups that may have never worked together before. And here we are, behind the Swiss cheese, nestled next to the olives. Swiss cheese, in this case, is Inland Caregiver Resources, and olives are IEHP. Being disabled, caregiving, aging, these can be times of joyful, magical, peaceful experiences. The MPA is a way for us to all work together to make it happen for the Inland Empire. So, congratulations on the visionary launch of the IE Master Plan for Aging. So I wanted to play that for you because the Inland Coalition on Aging has worked for 3 years on creating this Master Plan for Aging, and it is a way to help adults and people with disabilities, they include in their group, to age in place, to age with equity and access to health. So they're having their public launch online on June 24th. I can't be there, but I will definitely send the link out in case anybody wants to attend. I just saw Peter check in. Peter, hi! How are you doing? You're out and about.
Yeah, I'm in Jody's new car. So, but anyhow, yes, I am out and about, and actually, I wanted to pass something on to folks. Recently, over the past 2 months, I've been having problems with Social Security or with DPSS and my Medi-Cal. I got notified by Kaiser that I no longer had Medi-Cal. And finally, after 2 months of trying to get a hold of DPSS, I got a hold of them. They got a hold of me 2 days ago and said, "Oh, it was a computer glitch. We've got your Medi-Cal reestablished." So my word is, if you have trouble, don't give up on them. Go straight to the source, which would be your primary caseworker.
Is that caseworker going to be with DPSS then? Or
that caseworker is with DPSS. They will be on if you have access to your DPSS page, which shows your Medi-Cal as well as your SNAP. If you're receiving SNAP, it'll show your case number and then your caseworker and a caseworker's phone number. I'm happy to be back. Thank you for acknowledging me. Please let you go ahead with this wonderful meeting on this beautiful June day.
Do we have an ASL person in the meeting yet? I know they're on it. They're just probably going to join us a little late. Yeah, Tana.
I was going to say to Pete, you're not the only one that's having that problem. I have heard of other people having it too with Social Security and Medi-Cal.
Okay, so I'm going to call the meeting to order, and then I'm going to jump in and tell you about CCRD. Times are very stressful right now, and I'll give an introduction and do the stuff later. But so our CCRD meeting, it's the Cultural Competence Reducing Disparities meeting, is next Wednesday morning at 9. And we are doing a special listening session. And this arose because of some concerns in certain populations regarding the current political climate. So as you know, we have HISLA, which is our Hispanic Latinx cultural group, which is our counterpart partner. We have Asian Pacific Islanders. Ever since COVID, they have been the target of a lot of Asian hate. And then, as you know, a lot of the immigrants are having some challenges. So this listening session we're doing, if Misty's got her microphone off, why don't you go ahead and talk a little bit about what we hope to accomplish with the listening session?
Hi, Misty Martin, Senior Family Advocate with Cultural Competency. Our objectives are we're going to facilitate a dialogue between RUHS, the CCRD members, and other organizations and community who happen to be present during that meeting to address the impact of the federal funding cuts and shifting government priorities. So what does that mean? We want to hear about what's going on within the community from community members and organizations. What are you seeing? How are you being impacted? What are some of the fears of the community in coming forward to receive care? And then what we're going to do is we're going to gather all of that information, and we're going to put together another special presentation at a different time, off-site, probably in person, where community can come and we can address some of the fears that the organizations are seeing while they're working with the community, so that we can see the overall themes of what's happening and what's going on out in the world, right? And be able to address what we can in the present moment to try to help ease some of the fears that people are feeling, and then also be able to come up with a plan to collaborate with our community organizations and our other partners, to be able to do work towards providing some more services. Everything is very uncertain right now, and that is where a lot of the fear is coming from, and all of it is valid. All of it is valid. It's really important that we understand exactly what's going on out there, and then come together and figure out what we have currently in place that can help the community and what we can collaborate to building to provide additional supports. So I encourage all of you to attend. We will be sending out the agenda and invite shortly. So if you're not on that list, it will be sent to the Wade list as well, to try to get as much participation as we can during that meeting from community organizations and
Thank
other
you.
providers.
Thank you so much, Misty. I'm really looking forward to hearing what people have to say. And I just mentioned two of our groups, Asian Pacific Islanders and Latinx. But of course, people with disabilities, very concerned about what's going to happen with Medicaid and Medi-Cal. And then LGBTQ and disability both get lumped in with trans. And so some of our rights get pulled away. But trans should also have the same rights that we have. They're used as a wedge between populations. And disability justice is all about supporting other marginalized groups like ourselves. And what's the point of having a listening session if we don't have members of the community who represent our different groups? So I hope you can attend. Okay, so I did open the meeting. My name is Dakota. Sorry, I didn't introduce myself. I am the Cultural Community Liaison to People with Disabilities with RUHSBH, aka Riverside University Health System, Behavioral Health, also known as County Mental Health. And I'm going to go ahead and share once again the QR code. If this is your first meeting, if you would be so good as to go to that code, and Misty also will have the link in the chat, just to do a quick demographic form so we can learn more about you. As Misty said, where in the county resources need to be allocated to. And it would be great to see you. Cameras on, beautiful people. It helps us stay engaged. And I think it also keeps things more safe feeling for everyone. It does help to be able to see people's reactions. I do identify as disabled, and I have a hearing disability, and I'm a below elbow amputee and a cancer survivor, lymphedema. So I'm just getting a little look over who's here. Lauren, you chose to be with us today. Nice. Okay. And I see Joseph from the Hemet Beat is here. Wonderful. Giselle, you made it. Oh, I just love seeing you guys. Thank you for making my Friday. This meeting is accessible. We're still waiting for our American Sign Language person to sign in, but we have been in contact with them, and they did schedule somebody. So we hope they will be here presently. Misty is a co-host with me, so she's helping people come in. If somebody screen shares, your screen may enlarge and take up your whole device's screen. If you hit exit or escape, you should be able to get back to this Brady Bunch screen that we like so much. And if you want to receive regular invitations to this meeting, please let me know. Just put your email into the chat. If you just got this email by random, then we want you to be on our list. And I am looking for a volunteer to read our land acknowledgement today. Who wants to take a stab at it? Be brave. This is your chance to be brave and bold.
Hey, Dakota, I can read it. This is Daisy with Public Health.
Yes, Daisy, so thanks so much. We're standing by.
Riverside University Health System Behavioral Health acknowledges the traditional, ancestral, and contemporary homelands of the indigenous peoples of Southern California, whose land it occupies. The Cahuilla, Cupeño, Luiseño, Serrano, Chemehuevi peoples and their ancestors have been here since time immemorial, caring for the land with great integrity. The First Peoples honors the earth, animal, and plant beings, the water, and all peoples that lived here. We acknowledge this reciprocal relationship and intend to continue and extend the values of caring and emotional wellness to all Indigenous peoples, Native Americans, and residents of Riverside County. RUHS BH creates relationships built on trust and accountability with its community members. With this land acknowledgement, Riverside University Health System Behavioral Health commits to be respectful to and mindful of tribal sovereignty, culture, and beliefs of the Indigenous peoples of its land.
Thank you so much for that. You're brave, Daisy. You know, our land acknowledgement recognizes and respects Indigenous peoples as the traditional stewards of the land. Tomorrow, I'm attending the Philippine American Immersion School at San Juan Capistrano. And the Philippine Immersion School, as I talked about, cross all disabilities, cross all oppressions, this one really focuses on American institutions that have oppressed Native Americans. And so the mission system was a pre-existing Spanish model of colonization. So we're going to learn a little bit about that and about our own cultural identities. And one thing I heard in the orientation is they refer to Native Americans as the hosts. They're the hosts of our country. And I thought that was interesting. We're the guests, maybe uninvited guests, but you know, we think of them as the caretakers of the land and the carriers of the sacredness, but also they're our hosts. And our Native American Wellness Committee meets next Monday morning at 10. You want an invite? We would love you to be there as a form of allyship, whether or not you're Native American. In fact, we'll get Sean's email into the chat so you can ask him for an invite. Icebreaker. You know, our brain, we don't use our noses enough. I have a dog and I just see him sniffing everything. And I think we need to use our nose more. In our language, we don't have words for smells. We can say that smells like this or kind of like that, but, you know, pungent, but we don't have really good descriptors. So I think that we should focus our brains on smells, fragrances. And I would just like to know, what is your name, your organization, and just one of your favorite scents. I just put some ideas up there, but it can be anything you want. Alyssa?
Hi, yeah, sorry, I'm having my lunch, so that's why I'm not on camera.
That's fine.
But first time being here, so thank you. I would say my favorite scent is anything citrus or lemony, kind of fresh. I like that over kind of anything else. I see somebody put jasmine, and that's a close second for me as well.
Thank you for joining us, Alyssa, for your first Wade meeting. Citrus and also jasmine. And in the chat, Daisy says the desert. The smell of the creosote in the desert when it rains, that's kind of neat. Yeah, she gave me a yes on that. Floral, Alyssa loves floral. Oh, eucalyptus and mint. Desi, those are very pungent, activating fragrances, aren't they? You need to sort of get up and go and take a sniff at some of those. And then rain. We did rain, jasmine. Did I miss anything? Kim, oh, thank you so much for coming. Your favorite scent is baked goods fresh from the oven. I agree. Ooh, warm, complex carbohydrates, my favorite. And you know, probably the reason I love that so much is because there's that sense of home and hearth and family and safety and being nestled. Yes, Joseph, Thanksgiving and Christmas meals being prepared. Nice. Any last icebreakers? Oh, the smell of coffee and roses, Maricela. Thank you. Gardenia and lavender. Oh, these are such good. You guys are putting me in a good mood with all this. All right, our community agreements. So we do not have artificial intelligence at this meeting because We want it to be interactive. We don't want it to feel like there's somebody back there just recording what we say. Except I will tell you this meeting's being recorded for my purpose because I will edit it down and post it on our YouTube channel. And when I do that, if there's anything sensitive that happens in this meeting, you can reach out to me and I will make sure that gets edited out because a sense of safety is so important. Take space, make space. We have you. The stories and the names stay. The lessons can leave. And let us know if you have any accommodation needs. And if we get Zoom bombed, we will communicate via email how we're going to proceed. And we can change these documents at any time. Please reach out to me if there's anything else you want to add to it. We need to approve last month's minutes. So we'll start with the start with the attendees and check and make sure that we've got the right company that you work for and that we spelled your name properly. Well, are there any changes anybody has for the minutes? And now what we'll need to do to approve them is to have somebody move that we approve and a second.
This is Misty Dakota. I'll move to approve the minutes.
Okay. Can we get a second?
Alyssa, I can second.
Thank you. Did you say, yeah, there you are. Okay. This is my favorite time in the meeting, I think. And this is when our co-chair, Tana Butler, leads us through a mindfulness exercise. Tana, the floor is yours.
Hi, guys. So for today's meditation, I actually purchased this book to help us out. And so let's get started. We're going to rest your awareness on your body's breathing. One of those spots when the mind wanders, we refocus and direct experiencing of the breath. So we're just going to focus on our breathing right now, and we can softly close our eyes. And then to wrap the breathing up, we're going to have a period where we just think about our day and how we're feeling about our day, but we're still breathing. And then we want to make sure that we bring this breathing awareness to our everyday lives so that it can help our minds remain present. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Even just stopping to breathe for a second is so centering. Appreciate that. Breathe for a second while I look something up here. Time for our agency spotlight. You know, whether it's windstorms or wildfires or floods, people with disabilities often have a tougher time in emergency situations. And so here to talk about disaster preparedness with a focus on people with disabilities from the American Red Cross Riverside County, please give a warm virtual online welcome with your little reactions if you can. Regional Preparedness Manager, Kimberly Alfred.
Hello. Thank you all for having me. I'm really excited to be here to talk a little bit about preparedness, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that I can share a couple slides. So there we go. I'll just start by saying this is a piece of a larger presentation. And so at the end of this presentation, I will give some contact information and some instructions for if you're interested in scheduling the full presentation for any type of group. We have so many topics available. But today I'm going to really focus on just a few kind of beginning steps for how to start preparing for people with access and functional needs. We call this preparing with a team. And so I'm going to talk about a few things because preparedness is really not like a one-size-fits-all thing. It's not something that we all can follow the same steps and be fully prepared. We have to be ready to kind of adjust things, pivot a little bit, do something different than the norm. And we really need to make sure that we are focusing on our own needs and our own challenges and being prepared in our own situation. So this presentation is going to talk a little bit about that. regardless of our situation, we need to assess our needs and we need to determine what challenges we're going to face during an emergency. So imagine a disaster has happened and your home is unsafe. You cannot stay there. It is not safe for you to be in your home. Where would you go? What challenges would you have? Where is there a safe place for you? What supplies do you need? There's a lot of different considerations for if we have to leave home. What are some of those things that you're starting to think about? Imagine you have no power. So not necessarily that your home is unsafe, but maybe you don't have power at your home. What kinds of challenges would you have then? What devices do you use every single day that maybe you're used to using? Maybe you don't even think about the fact that you're using them, and that they draw power. What would you do if you didn't have those devices? I can think of quite a few that I would really miss if the power was out. Imagine that your water is not clean. You can't turn on the faucet and get clean water for cooking or cleaning or drinking. What would you do in that situation? Do you have a storage of water? Do you have a place you could get clean water? Do you know how to boil your water to make it safe? Now imagine the roads are blocked. Imagine you can't drive from your home to your doctor's office or to the grocery store or the pharmacy or your friend's home, the places you frequent. Imagine that you're not able to get from one place to another. Maybe you don't drive, maybe the bus isn't working. What are some challenges that you might have if you can't get places that you need to go? Imagine that your stores, pharmacies, healthcare facilities are closed. What kinds of challenges might that present for you, and what kinds of things might you need to keep in your home and in your emergency kit to get yourself through that situation? Imagine deliveries aren't available. So not only are the roads blocked, you can't get places, but you can't get things to you. And perhaps your environment is unhealthy. Maybe your home is safe, but the outside air or the environment around you is not a healthy place for you to be. Where would you go? How would you keep yourself healthy in that situation? And so this is just kind of a thought exercise to kind of think about some of the things that we might face during a disaster. It's very rare that all of these situations would happen at once, but it's possible. There are a lot of different things that can happen without warning, that we need to be prepared for in our own homes and in our own households and our own situations. And so as we're going through, I'm going to talk through 3 more steps that we can take to start addressing some of these needs. And this, again, not the full presentation, but it's going to start the thought process and start the conversation. So if you have identified in the last slide some challenges that you might have that you can't solve on your own, the first thing you're going to want to do is build a support team. And a support team is going to be based on your needs. You're going to need to plan how you're going to solve some of your issues. Maybe you need to work with others. And this is what we call your support team. So when you have your support team, maybe you have some people in mind. They should be people that you trust, people that you know, people that know you and your situation, and people that can step in and fill a hole in your preparedness in any given situation. So once you have those people identified, have a conversation, tell them how they can best help you, and what kinds of help you're going to need from them, and have that conversation. Can they help you with that? What can they help you with, and what do you need help with? Again, it's all based on your needs and your challenges and how they can help you. Or maybe you're on someone's support team. Ask them how you can best help them. We want to create an emergency contact list of all the people on our support team. I don't know about all of you. I do not memorize phone numbers anymore. I have them all on my phone, so why would I? So I know my work phone, I know my mom's cell phone, and I know my own cell phone, and that is it. And so it's really important that we all have an emergency contact list. So if we can't access our phones, we are able to at least have those contact information if we find another way to get that phone call through.
I'm going to
Yes,
interrupt
go
and
ahead.
ask you, Kimberly. So is this the part where you're saying a hard copy list of
A
the
hard
emergency?
copy list, yes.
Okay.
Yes. So if, let's say, we don't have power, our phones only last for so long. And there are backup batteries you can get, but if you just don't have access to your phone, you're going to want to have that list on a hard copy just in case. If you can use like a landline or someone else's phone is working or something like that. So thank you for asking. Discuss your medical, physical, cognitive, and mental health needs with your support team. Let them know what things you're going to anticipate having challenges with during an emergency and talk about how they can help you. Work with your team, write down how each person can help, come up with a plan. And once you have this plan, make sure that your team has an up-to-date copy. And as you kind of go, make sure that you are updating that copy and providing it to them when you've made changes. Because what we'd established last year may not be true this year. Maybe we have some new devices or some new challenges or some new medical medications, things like that that have come up that we need to keep up to date on our plan. And our situations also change during a disaster. Things that we anticipate now may be different when the disaster happens, or we may find new challenges we didn't anticipate. So make sure that your plans are flexible, include backups, make sure that each person if they have specific responsibilities, make sure that you have a backup on your support team in case that person is out of town or on vacation when the disaster occurs. And once we have had our support team, we've established that team, we've had a discussion, we've come up with a plan, we also want to make plans to stay safe. Because every disaster, we're going to have one of three choices. We're going to evacuate, we're going to stay home, or we're going to shelter nearby. And so if we are at home when the disaster occurs and we need to evacuate, we should plan to leave before the disaster if we can, or as soon after the disaster as we can to keep ourselves safe and make sure that we're getting to a place where we are not in danger. If we won't have access to our services, or if our home is unsafe, where will we go? Do we have a place that we're familiar with? Maybe we have a hotel that we would go stay in that we've stayed in before. Maybe we have friends, family, or loved ones that we can go stay with in the meantime. Maybe we'd go to a public shelter. Whatever the plan is, make sure that you know what that plan is. How will you get there? Do you have a vehicle of your own? Do you need transportation? Who is going to provide you transportation if you need that? Are you relying on public transportation, maybe an Uber, a taxi, something like that? How are you going to get to your place? How are you going to evacuate? What help will you need? What help will you need to get there? What help do you need once you're there? Identify those things. If I'm staying in a public shelter, if I'm staying in a hotel, I'm going to need help taking a bath, getting dressed. Maybe I'm going to need help checking in, or I need somebody to check up on me every couple days to make sure I'm doing okay. What kinds of help do you anticipate needing if you're away from home? And what will you bring with you? Do you have supplies that you can grab and go if you have to evacuate quickly? What supplies are those that you're going to need? And I'm going to talk about supplies on the next slide. But what supplies do we need to bring with us? If it is safe for us to stay at home, do we have a plan to meet our needs while we're at home? The first slide, we talked about some challenges. Maybe we don't have power. Maybe the environment's not healthy for us. There are a lot of different types of challenges that we might see when we're staying home. Do we have enough food and water for 2 weeks if we have to stay home? Do we have enough medications if we're not able to leave our home and if we have no access to grocery stores, deliveries, pharmacies? Will we be able to get the care that we need? If we need to stay home during an emergency, and we're reliant on regular care, is that care still going to be accessible if we're staying home during an emergency? And if not, maybe we need to evacuate. Maybe we need to go stay someplace else. And so there's a lot of different decisions that we're going to have to make during an emergency. And if we have to stay home, do we have enough medications? I think I talked about that as kind of wrapped it up in with the food and water, but do we have enough supplies? Do we have things to keep us healthy, safe, and independent during an emergency? And what is that plan? What are those supplies? Make sure we have that prepared before the emergency happens. And finally, we talk about sheltering nearby as well. If you are not at home when the disaster occurs, maybe it's a what we call an act fast emergency, where something happens immediately when you're out and you need to act fast to get yourself to safety. That could be things like earthquakes, tornadoes, chemical spills, civil disturbances, things that may come up in the blink of an eye when we're at least expecting it. If we're at the doctor's office, we are at a place of worship, we're at a friend's home. If we're away from home and something happens, are there safe locations near the places that we frequent where we can go for a brief time so that we can keep ourselves safe in the meantime while we're working on either getting ourselves back home or getting ourselves to a short-term evacuation location? So those are some things to consider. Just about every disaster that we have here in Southern California is going to result in one of these three decisions. And so make sure that you know those three decisions and what you're going to do so that once that situation occurs, like, okay, I'm not safe at home, I'm going to this hotel. And it's the decision's made for you. You don't have to figure out where you're going at the time. You can just put that plan into action. And finally, we want to gather emergency supplies. And I will put a link in the chat where you can find a full list of supplies to put in your kit. I wanted to make sure that I had enough time to answer questions if there are any at the end. So we have organized our supplies into 2 kits. We have a go kit, which has at least 3 days of supplies that we can grab quickly if we need to evacuate fast. Usually that's going to be in some kind of really easy to grab container like a backpack so that as we're like evacuating, for example, with a wildfire, we may only have minutes to get out of our home safely. And so we have that kit ready to go. We can grab it and run out the door so that we can get ourselves to safety and still have our supplies. And then we also have our stay-at-home kit. This is going to be at least 2 weeks of supplies if we need to shelter at home. That's going to have food, water, medications, communication supplies, flashlights. And then if you have, maybe you travel a lot, maybe you're away from home a lot. Do you have a little kit that you can keep when you're away from home, maybe with some basic first aid, some snacks and some water, just in case something happens while you're not in a familiar location? And you should also customize your kits based on the needs you identified with your team, or that you identified yourself. And so each of us are going to have different needs. Maybe we have pets or service animals. Maybe we live in a household with children. Maybe we live in a household with older adults. Or we have our own devices or needs that we're going to have backups for, and we're going to keep those in our kit. So again, I'll post a link to a page on our website about creating an emergency kit, so you can go look more into detail about what emergency kits are going to have in them. So you have 2 options. You can go buy a kit. You can buy them from the Red Cross website. You can buy them at Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, Target. I'm sure has. I know I've seen them at Walmart. I don't think I've seen them at Target. But you can look at some of these like department stores, big box stores, and you can find a pre-made kit. Or you can create your own. When I started creating my own kit, I was surprised by how much I had just laying around my house, ready to be, put in my kit. I didn't use it otherwise, so now it's in my emergency kit. And so those are your 2 options, but I will post the link of what needs to be in it. Are there any questions?
Kimberly, I had a question, and I'm sorry if you addressed this. I might have missed it. Where do I find out where my nearest shelter is? Who do I call,
question.
or where can I look it up?
Yeah, that's a good question. Thank you for asking, Dakota. So if you are planning to stay in a public shelter, know that we are not going to post that information until it's actually open. So the Red Cross has identified shelter locations in a lot of different areas. We have shelters all throughout Riverside, San Bernardino, Orange, San Diego, and Imperial. LA region has their own shelters listed. So we have found locations that are willing to work with us as shelter locations. But we don't know which one we're going to open for any given disaster. We may have several in one area, and we need to identify which one has not been damaged by the earthquake. And so we will post those publicly through the County of Riverside, County San Bernardino, whatever county you live in. We will make sure that we're disseminating that information far and wide so that people can find us when that shelter is open.
Thank you.
There's also a website. It's redcross.org/shelters, and that's also going to post all of our public shelter locations as well that are open for your, I think it's in a map view and a list view for your viewing. So great question. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Anything in the chat?
Oh, how can we get your organization to come present for us, please? Oh, nice.
Hey, I have that on the next slide. So if you're in Riverside, I've put Kelly Larson's information. So I'm the regional preparedness manager. And I cover our whole region. So we cover San Bernardino, Riverside, Orange, San Diego, and Imperial. And so if any of those locations, if you're there, I will be your point of contact to kind of direct you to the right place. Kelly is responsible for Riverside County. So if you're in Riverside County, her email is up on the screen. And if you're anywhere else other than Riverside, you can reach out to me and I'll put my information and Kelly's information in the chat in a brief moment. So if you're interested in scheduling the full presentation, we normally go about 30 to 60 minutes. And you can do either one or two topics, go as in-depth as you want. So if you want like a more in-depth presentation, do one topic for a full hour, or you can do one topic for 30 minutes. It's a little bit more condensed, and we can also combine it with another topic as well. So this presentation is very customizable if you're interested in learning specific things, and we can't cover it all in one. So if you want to set up a whole series, we can do that too.
Thank you, Kimberly. Laura, I had the same idea. I had to write that stuff down. I thought, I'm going to send this to the regional advisory boards. And oh, good. We've got more information there in the chat. I always thought, Kimberly, in a crisis, I will just stay at home. And then I thought, well, if something's wrong with the home, I guess I could live in my car. And you took both those away when you took the power away and you took the roads are blocked. So
Yeah.
you sort of opened up my eyes there a bit. Also, as a disabled person, my hearing aids are newfangled, so they don't have batteries. They charge. If I don't have power, I don't have hearing.
Right.
So I have to make sure, my go bag would have the backup, the older hearing aids that are powered along with batteries. So
yeah, there's actually a really cool thing. I actually have one on my desk. So there's this really cool thing. This is a solar charger. So it's pretty big. It's very bulky. It's got a little flashlight on it. This charges my phone and it recharges by solar. So I can toss it out in the sun and it will recharge in a couple hours. So they're a little pricey. I will say they're a little bit on the expensive side. There are several different models. This one's kind of a bigger model, a little bit more expensive. You can find them online if you're interested in looking into something like that. Anything that charges with a USB port, this thing will charge it.
Thank you. That's amazing. Any other questions for Kimberly?
Shout out to Misty. Thank you for posting all that information in the chat. And as soon as I am done with this little portion, I will go find that link for the shelter supply kits.
Thank you. Tana does have a question. Tana.
I was wondering, do you know where to get the smoke alarms for the deaf that are bed shakers?
Yeah, so you can, I'll put that information in the chat as well. We do have a website and a phone number where you can reach out to request smoke alarms. And then that usually comes to me. I'm kind of the regional information. All the information flows through me, and I send it out to the right place. And so if you're interested in smoke alarms for deaf and hard of hearing, I will put that information in the chat. You can call us or put in an online request. And make sure that you let us know, mention that you're looking for alarms for deaf and hard of hearing, so that when we do give you a call to set up the appointment, we're able to have that conversation at the time.
That's bed shakers and strobe lights also?
Bed shakers will always be available. The strobe lights are very limited, and so they're kind of a first come, first serve. And once they're gone, I don't know that we're going to receive any more. So I try not to publish those publicly, but they are available for now for those who need them.
So definitely ask about them.
Yes, definitely ask about them. If you need a strobe light alarm, we can have that conversation as well.
I only thought of earthquakes and winds and floods and fires. And then you mentioned civil disturbances and chemical spills.
Mm-hmm.
And those were not on my radar. So thank you for opening up my eyes and making us imagine what this is going to look like so we can address it ahead of time.
Yeah. And an emergency is really anything where our normal kind of operations are disrupted. And so that could look a lot of different ways. Typically, the Red Cross doesn't respond to civil disturbances, but it can definitely disrupt our transportation routes, our normal areas that we visit, our doctor's offices. Wherever those disturbances pop up, they kind of disrupt a lot of different things.
Thank you. And I like that you put a friendly face on this, because this could be kind of a scary crisis topic. And so it's nice to see a friendly, capable person who is passing on the idea that we could be prepared and it doesn't have to be have a terrible outcome. So thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
If you do have any last minute questions for Kimberly, you can put them in the chat. Hopefully she'll stay with us.
Yeah, I will stick around and answer any questions that come up in the chat. And I will also go track down that information I promised.
Thank you. You're the best. So I just wanted to play some highlights from our May is Mental Health Month events. We had 3 of them, one in the desert, Western. This was at Fairmont Park. Do you see Will here? Will runs the Peer Center in Ruston, and he was the MC for the activities. Joseph, look! And thank you to Joseph for the pictures. Diana from PEI was there. And just I'll mention that I attended the Health and Wellness Conference. Inland Caregiver Resource Center is such an amazing resource. And I hope if you know a caregiver who's feeling overwhelmed, or an adult, a mature adult over 65 who maybe needs some extra support with learning some cognitive behavioral therapy skills, in ICRC has all these resources and more. Had us do some dancing. Because, movement is one of those self-care things. If it's all right with everybody, we can just move on to new business. This is a video I'm going to play for you. I'll give it a minute to load, and we'll go ahead and push play on this. This runs 2 minutes and 28.
We brought strangers into the lab in pairs of 2. With the flip of a coin determined who was going to be a rich player and who was going to be the poor player. The rich player got 2 times as much money to play the game. They got to roll both dice instead of one, so they got to move around the board a lot quicker, and that mattered because when they moved around the board and passed go, they would collect $200, whereas the poor person, they'd collect $100. And the inequality is almost immediately apparent to the players. How couldn't it be? But within a couple of minutes, dynamics start to crystallize.
How many 500s did you have?
Just 1.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I have 3.
And the rich player started to behave a little differently. Rich players become more dominant. Rich players eat more pretzels. When moving their piece around the board, they become louder. They start smacking the board with their piece.
I want to buy out this whole board.
And the rich players were significantly ruder.
You don't have enough money to do.
They were far more likely to showcase and talk about how well they're doing.
Life is sweet for me.
And to belittle the plight of those poor players. So they became less compassionate.
Yes, and I'm buying it.
And these are patterns that we're observing consistently over hundreds of different individuals.
You're gonna run out of money soon.
You see people who are winning because of the flip of a coin start to act as if they actually deserve to win.
Looks like I made some good investments.
One of the questions we ask is, why did you win the game? And you can imagine that rich players would say, well, I won the game because of that flip of the coin. I had 2 times the advantage. But none, not one, of the rich players attributed their inevitable success in this game to that force of luck that randomly got them that privileged position in the first place. We translate perceptions and experiences of being better off than others materially to being better than others.
Yeah, I wanted to show you this video not as a way just to ridicule or slam rich people, but to point out that sometimes rich people have more challenges with empathy. I think they've done MRIs of the brain of richer people, and like that empathy portion has gotten turned off a little bit. It's well known that the poor donate more and do more charity work in relationship to the amount of wealth they have. I like how instead of saying I got twice the money, she said I made good investments. That's why I won. Does anybody have any comments on this? Or I saw that Lauren said this was wild. You know, people in power may view themselves differently and pay less attention to their surroundings and focus on their own actions, and it leads to less perspective taking. It's harder for them to take somebody's point of view. And this can manifest as a reduced sensitivity to emotions, a tendency to rely on stereotypes. And so it's just something for us to be aware of as we all improve ourselves and become more prosperous in the world. If power were a drug, it would come with a long list of side effects. It can intoxicate, it can corrupt, it can alienate. But we'll just mention again briefly, we did hit this at the top of the meeting, our Cultural Competency Reducing Disparities Committee meeting next Wednesday morning at 9 online is going to be a listening session, and we want everybody to attend to provide feedback for us. Yeah, and the information's in the chat, or you can register at that bit.ly. Yeah, that's in the chat. Hemet Pride is tomorrow. It's going from 12 to 6 at Lotus House. Tickets are free. There's the website if you want to learn more about that. Also tomorrow, so if you're not in Hemet, if you're in Riverside, you could go to the 4th Annual Deaf Wellness and Resource Fair. It's at Cody in Riverside, and they're always a bunch of fun. You can register. We'll get that into the chat too for you. Once again, that's tomorrow from 10 to 2. I just got this news this morning. So it's a minor league baseball team that I didn't even know about. It's All Abilities Night at the baseball game with the Lake Elsinore Storm. And this is an inclusive, sensory-friendly ballpark experience next Tuesday afternoon, first pitch, 6. Let's see, they've got sensory kits there. They're going to have tents, ASL, interpreters, resource tables, limited sound, interactive mid-inning breaks, and live professional baseball. And the Rotary Club of Menifee is supporting this. Proceeds are going to their special needs community programs. Alyssa, did you have a question, comment?
I was just going to mention that I signed up for this event as a vendor for their resource fair. So if you weren't going to mention the resource portion, I was going to mention it that they can take nonprofits as vendors to set up a table, which UCP will be there as well.
Awesome. UCPIE getting out and about, heading to the west end of the county. All right.
Always, we try.
The 2025 Inland Empire Disability Collaborative has announced their conference June 17th. So that's going to be a week from Tuesday, a day of learning, networking, inspiration. You can hear from experts and connect with peers in a vibrant and engaging environment at the campus there in Rancho Cucamonga. We've got that registration link for you too. The IEDC, Inland Empire Disability Collaborative, meets once a month if you ever want to go to those meetings, that's a great networking opportunity to you for disability. And then I want to mention, because Ashley sent me this calendar from the Indio Peer Support and Resource Center. Just a little sampling of some of the stuff. This is the desert version, but Lauren puts out calendars for Mid-County, and not sure, probably drawing a blank on her name. Jane Beamer provides the calendars for Riverside. It's so good for your members to engage, to participate, to get some practice with their new CBT skills. And we do have Juneteenth coming up too. If you want to get a hold of a peer center, just reach out to me. Yeah, like I said, 3 of them: Riverside, Temecula, and Indio. We have a surprise. I looked at the calendar, and our next meeting is July 4th. So I want to take a poll and find out, here are our options. We can skip it or we can move it. Okay, launching. All right. The first Friday of next month is July 4th. Should the Wade Alliance skip our July meeting, meet the following Friday, which is July 11th, or meet on another date, which if that comes up as the choice, then we can discuss what date that might be. So we are getting some answers. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and end the poll now. Thank you so much, Lauren. And let's share the results. Okay, meet the following Friday, July 11th. I'm all up for it. So our next meeting will be July 11th. Thank you, everybody, for participating. And that might mean our July and August meetings are closer together, or we can always talk about skipping August because a lot of county meetings go dark in August. Next. Just in case I didn't get to your event on my slideshow, does anybody want to share what their upcoming events are? Hands are going up. Alyssa, UCPIE, that's United Cerebral Palsy Inland Empire, which also works not just with cerebral palsy, but many developmental challenges.
Yes. While cerebral palsy is in our name, we do cover autism, Down syndrome, epilepsy, CP, of course, and other intellectual and developmental delays as well, which is pretty cool. Not a lot of people know that. But I did raise my hand because I wanted to share an upcoming event that we have that's going to be in August. So there is some time, but it's going to be August 5th. United Cerebral Palsy of the Inland Empire is celebrating 40 years of being open as a nonprofit. So we're throwing a birthday party to celebrate 40 years. It's going to be a birthday bash. While we cover the whole IE, our primary office is located in Palm Desert. So we're partnering with the Burger Foundation Iceplex, which is the official training facility of the Coachella Valley Firebirds. So they're being very generous, allowing us to throw our birthday bash in their facility. They're also throwing in participants to skate. So up to 250 people. So we are inviting all community members to come out, learn about our organization, and also celebrate with us. I will put our flyer in the chat. It has a QR code on it. So if you guys are interested in attending, you guys can scan the QR code. I highly suggest to RSVP. There's 3 different options. You can RSVP to attend and skate with us, and skates will be provided to you. You can RSVP to attend and you will provide your own skates, but you're just agreeing that you're going to be on the ice. Or if you're not a skater, you can just come and not skate at all. But it should be a lot of fun. If you've always wanted to learn a little bit more about us, you can definitely come. It's also open to the community too. So if you run a program with youth or with individuals, you can come on out as well and bring them too. I would just highly suggest RSVPing. And then I will also put a link to our website in the chat if you wanted to take a look about more of our services and the programs that we offer. I will also put my email too. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Alyssa. It's so, what a great coincidence, or just you guys planning it, that the anniversary, did you say 40th anniversary, is on August 5th in the dead of the heat. So get on the ice. It's a nice way to get out of the heat.
Yeah,
also.
it'll probably be the only time you'll need to wear a sweater in the summer. So it's kind of nice that we're going to be in the cold.
Okay. And then our, feel free to get that up on our shared Google Drive also, which I don't see anybody ready to share again. So let me just do this real quick and just put our Google Drive. It'll be in the chat, but this is a shared drive that you can upload or download any flyers that are shared. Who else wants to share about their upcoming event? Okay. Tana.
You can always count on me.
Yep.
So I wanted to talk to you guys about the Pear Center on Ruston. And I'm looking at their calendar, and I wanted to tell you guys that the new Inside Out 2 group that they have is amazing. It's about getting emotions under control and also regulating them and understanding why we have the emotions and how the emotions all play an effect of our daily lives. So I think this is a very interesting class. I've taken the first one, and I'm going to continue to finish it. They also give out a certificate at the end. You get to watch the movie, and you get a graduation. That's not the only group they have. They have tons of groups that are very well welcoming to everybody, and they're just really good groups. Anger management was really good. The financial success is good too. So you guys might want to go over there and check those out.
So Tana, the Inside Out class, then are we like personifying the emotions? They sort of put a face on the emotion and divide them up a little so you can kind of figure them out better?
Yes. So it puts new perspective on your feelings and gets you to understand them better so you can have a better regulation and a better life for the future of how you're going to deal with these emotions.
Thank you. Yeah, I've heard a thing that says feelings are not
Facts.
facts. Feelings are not facts. Yeah, feelings are just information.
Yes, and it is all based on the Inside Out 2 movie, so it's really cute that it has all these cute characters to, help you understand the emotions. Is that, they're trying to tell you how they feel about this certain emotion and how they can help you with these emotions, but it's actually the characters doing it all.
Our co-chair, Donna Butler, thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right, any last burning desires to share? I will put this up on the screen in case you weren't able to use the QR code to fill out a membership questionnaire. Just if this is your first meeting, we'd love to use that QR code, or it'll go into the chat just to find out who you are and what part of the county you're from and how we can best serve you. And since I don't see any hands up, I will so we're going to go 6 weeks instead of 5 weeks because our meeting next month will be a week later. Bye, Lord. Bye, everybody. I am adjourning the meeting. Have a wonderful weekend. Go out and be amazing like you always are.